Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out you'll never have to pay income tax again. Not one penny. Every dollar you earn from Social Security, from your pension, from any work you're still doing, it's all yours to keep. Sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what President Trump has been promising. And millions of Americans are wondering, could this actually happen? Could we really say goodbye to income taxes forever? But here's what kept me up at night while researching this. What I discovered could directly threaten your Social Security benefits, drain Medicare, and quietly transfer thousands of dollars from your fixed income into someone else's pocket. And most seniors have absolutely no idea it's happening. Today, I'm going to show you the numbers they don't want you to see. I'm going to expose who benefits and who pays the price. And I'm going to reveal why this proposal, as good as it sounds, could be one of the most expensive mistakes retirees in America could make. This isn't about politics. This is about your money, your retirement, and your future. So before you get excited about no more income taxes, you need to hear what I'm about to tell you. Let me start by explaining what President Trump has been suggesting. During his second term, he's repeatedly stated that tariff revenue, taxes on imported goods, could eventually become large enough that Americans might not need to pay income taxes at all. In his own words, at a recent cabinet meeting, he said, "At some point in the not-too-distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay." This isn't casual talk. Trump has been serious about this idea since at least June 2024, when he discussed it with Republican lawmakers. He suggested everything from eliminating income taxes entirely to possibly sending Americans $2,000 tariff dividend checks. Here's the basic idea. Instead of the government collecting taxes from your paycheck, they would collect much more money from tariffs on products coming into the country. In theory, foreign companies and foreign governments would pay these tariffs, and American workers would keep more of their paychecks. But I need to pause here and explain something crucial about tariffs, something most people don't realize. When Trump says foreign countries will pay these tariffs, that's not how it works in practice. Tariffs are paid by U.S. companies that import goods. And what do those companies do? They typically pass those costs onto us, American consumers, through higher prices. So in reality, tariffs function as a tax on American shoppers. Here's where we need to look at the actual numbers, because this is where the proposal runs into serious problems. Let me give you the real figures from 2024. Federal income tax brought in approximately $2.4 trillion. That's trillion, with a T. Meanwhile, tariff revenue, even with Trump's significant new tariffs in place, is projected to bring in around $260 billion per year. That means income taxes generate more than 14 times what tariffs currently produce. To put this in perspective, income taxes account for almost half of all federal revenue. Tariffs, even at their higher current levels, represent only about 5% of federal revenue. So, could tariffs realistically replace income taxes? Every economist and tax expert I researched, and I'm talking analysts from across the political spectrum, says the same thing. It's not mathematically possible with any realistic tariff rates. Steve Ellis from Taxpayers for Common Sense put it bluntly. It is not remotely possible that tariffs could be used to eliminate the income tax. The Tax Foundation estimates that to replace income tax revenue, you'd need tariff rates well over 60% on essentially everything we import. And here's the catch-22. If you raise tariffs that high, people and businesses stop buying imported goods. When imports drop, tariff revenue drops too. Economists estimate there's a ceiling, maybe $700 billion per year, that tariffs could realistically generate. Still less than a third of what income taxes bring in. Think about it practically. In 2023, we imported about $3.1 trillion worth of goods, but American incomes totaled over $20 trillion. You simply can't tax a smaller base and expect to collect the same revenue. Now, let's talk about what really matters to you as seniors, your Social Security and your Medicare benefits. This is where things get especially concerning. And I want you to pay close attention because there are multiple ways Trump's tariff policies are already affecting you. First, inflation and your COLA. Trump's tariffs are already pushing up prices on imported goods. When prices go up, that shows up in inflation, which means your cost of living adjustment goes up too. You might think, great, bigger COLA. But here's the problem. The tariff-driven price increases hit you immediately, while the COLA adjustment doesn't come until the following October. Financial expert Michael Ryan calls this the cruelest kind of raise. You're paying higher prices for 9 months before you ever see an adjustment in your check. And even when it arrives, it only compensates for 70 to 80% of what you already lost to inflation. Second, Medicare premiums eat into your COLA. Medicare Part B premiums are projected to jump 11.6% next year to over $206 per month. For most of you, these premiums are automatically deducted from your Social Security check. That increase would wipe out about 40% of your COLA right off the top, so you're already behind before you even begin. Third, the long-term threat to Social Security funding. Trump has proposed eliminating federal taxes on Social Security benefits. Now, that sounds good on the surface. Nobody enjoys paying taxes. But here's the reality. Those taxes on benefits are a major source of revenue for the Social Security system itself. According to analysis from the Wharton School, eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits would reduce program revenues by $1.5 trillion over 10 years. The result? The Social Security Trust Fund would run out of money 1 to 2 years earlier than currently projected, possibly by 2032 instead of 2033. And when that happens, everyone faces an automatic 21 to 23% cut in benefits unless Congress acts. Also, something most people don't realize. Eliminating taxes on benefits primarily helps higher income seniors. If you're middle or lower income, you likely already pay little to no tax on your benefits, so the tax savings would mostly go to the top 10% of earners. Fourth, immigration policies affect Social Security's health. This is something many people never connect. Trump's strict immigration enforcement and deportation policies might sound appealing for other reasons, but from a Social Security funding perspective, they're harmful. Immigrants, including undocumented workers, pay into Social Security through payroll taxes. Reducing the workforce means less money flowing into the system, which accelerates the timeline toward insolvency. Let's talk about fairness. And who would actually shoulder the burden if we move toward a tariff-heavy tax system? The current income tax system is progressive, meaning higher earners pay a higher percentage. The top 10% of earners pay about 72% of all income taxes. Meanwhile, many middle and lower income Americans pay little to no federal income tax at all. Tariffs work completely differently. They're what economists call regressive. Everyone pays the same higher prices on imported goods, regardless of income. A gallon of milk, a pair of shoes, a television, the tariff-inflated price is the same whether you make $30,000 or $300,000 per year. But here's the key. If you're living on a fixed income of $25,000 to $40,000 a year from Social Security, which describes millions of seniors, those higher prices take up a much bigger share of your budget compared to someone who's wealthy. Multiple analysts have pointed out that replacing income taxes with tariffs would amount to a massive tax shift away from the wealthy and on to the poor and middle class. As one tax policy expert put it, this would substantially increase the tax burden on the poor and middle class while reducing it for the well-off. Right now, the average effective tariff rate Americans face is nearly 17%, the highest since 1935. And prices are already rising because of it. Groceries, electronics, clothing, cars, if it's imported or even contains imported components, it's costing more. So what should you expect going forward? Here's my realistic assessment. Complete elimination of income taxes is not going to happen. It's mathematically impossible and would require congressional approval that simply isn't there, even among many Republicans. What is likely is continued high tariffs. Trump has shown he's committed to this approach, with tariffs ranging anywhere from 10% to 60% or more, depending on the country. And these tariffs will continue adding to your living costs. You should expect continued pressure on your purchasing power. Even with COLA adjustments, your Social Security benefits are likely to fall further behind your actual expenses, especially for healthcare, housing, and food, the big three expenses for seniors. The Social Security Trust Fund remains on track for potential insolvency in the early 2030s. This is the real crisis that needs addressing. And tariff revenue does nothing to solve it. So here's what you can do to protect yourself. 1. Budget for higher prices on goods. Look at where your money is going and find areas where you can reduce spending on imported products or switch to domestic alternatives. 2. Stay informed about your Medicare options. With premiums rising, make sure you're enrolled in the most cost-effective plan during the next open enrollment period. 3. If you're still working part-time or considering it, that extra income becomes even more valuable in this environment. It can help offset the gap between your fixed Social Security income and rising prices. 4. Contact your representatives in Congress. The real solution to Social Security's funding crisis requires congressional action. Let your senators and representatives know that protecting Social Security and Medicare is your top priority. 5. Be skeptical of promises that sound too good to be true. No income taxes sounds wonderful, but as we've seen, the trade-off would likely be higher prices that hit seniors especially hard. Look, I understand the appeal of Trump's proposal. Who wouldn't want to eliminate income taxes? But as someone committed to giving you the straight facts about your financial security, I have to tell you, the math doesn't work, and the consequences for seniors could be significant. The real issues facing Social Security and Medicare require serious bipartisan solutions, things like adjusting the payroll tax cap, finding efficiencies in healthcare spending, or making gradual benefit adjustments. These aren't exciting talking points, but they're the actual solutions we need. What you don't need is a policy that sounds good in a speech, but would leave you paying more for everything while your fixed income struggles to keep up. I hope this video has given you a clear, honest picture of where things stand. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below and tell me what questions you have. I read every single one, and your questions help me decide what to cover next. And remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to protecting your financial security in retirement. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.